Hello, my name is Arthur, and in this video we're going to deal with pasted text. So we've got a lot of the highlighting function working now, except for when we paste in text. So let's just have a look at it. Let's say we wanted to paste in a whole function, so we just copy it and paste it on in there. And what we get from that is a whole bunch of text with no highlighting. And the only way to get this to highlight now would be to basically do something in every second line. So that would highlight it, but we want it to highlight when we paste it. So I was thinking there might be a complication between, this kind of paste, this kind of paste, or a hotkey kind of paste, but it turns out it doesn't actually matter. So we'll just close this up. We'll go over to main in add tab, and we'll look at some documentation. So let's see, here we go. So in the text buffer, we have a signal that can tell us that a paste has been done, and it doesn't matter how the paste was done. So let's see, we get a signal here. So we need a function to receive the signal. I would say that although it is a clipboard event, because we need to use it for highlighting, that we can put the function into highlight. So let's just make it like the last function so that it's aware of all of the other function. And we can just call it paste done. So we'll go void paste done. And let's get our documentation so we can read here. So we'll stick it on the edge and shrink it over a bit and get this over so we can see. There we go. We just need to be able to see the parameters. So we get text buffer, clipboard, and gpointer data. So GTK text buffer, comma, GTK clipboard, and let's get our spacing right here, clipboard, and gpointer data. So that's a little lengthy. We'll just ignore that. Let's get some spaces under here. So we're up a little bit. So yeah, if we want to, we can clean that up so it's not such a lengthy thing. And then I usually like to get the bracket out to the edge. So we can close that off, and that's just the one that the signal will send to. So let's hook up the signal. The signal would be done in add tab so that any of the buffers can admit it. So that's basically it's a standard signal. So we can just copy this, paste it on in here. The signal name is paste done. We'll want to change this to GTK text buffer. And I'm not 100% we need to even put that there, but we will, just because. So we'll paste in the buffer. Our callback is paste done. And we'll have to add that to the H file so that main can see it. So we'll go paste done. And then our G pointer data, I don't think that we need any. So we'll just put null there. Let's kick this out to the end. Okay, so we'll add paste done. We'll copy that into here. So we can save that in place. This should be good, so we can save that in place. And the rest is really what we do with that. So when we get a paste done, what we're going to want is we're going to want to get the text. Because, yeah, let's just run and look at why. So when we do a paste, we have a cursor here, and we need to know how many lines up. So this is a small paste, but with a big paste, we can't just guess. So even with this paste, there's nothing here to highlight. Like, nothing can become highlighted here. There's no keywords except for void. But even void won't highlight until we do something in the line beneath it. So basically we want to use where the cursor is at after the paste plus the number of lines to determine the scope that we need to initiate our iters at. So to do that, we need to get the char. We need to get a char of whatever's in the clipboard. So let's close that up and let's look for, let's see, request text. So what we would do here is we would GTK clipboard request text. We've passed clipboard with the paste, so we should have that already. The next is the function we're going to call, and I think that the function we'll call would be, let's call it find line offset. And then null is our pointer data. So that should be good like that. So let's go and find the text received function. So this is the function that receives the text. So we would put this up here. This will be a void function. it's going to also get the clipboard. And let's just copy our name right from here. So we'll just paste that in there. It gets the clipboard, a constant char pointer to the text that's in the buffer, and G pointer, data. So again, that's a little bulky, so we can let's get our usual 2 spaces here. So we'll just do that with it. So what we want to do is we want to find out how many new lines is in that piece of text. So we'll need an integer. We'll just call it offset. We'll say it equals 0. Now, I found this is basically, it's a rewrite of strings, string length. Now, string length won't work for us. It'll tell us how many chars are there, but it's going to exclude new lines, I'm pretty sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to count the new lines. So it's going to look similar to this. What we'll do is we'll move this so we can read it, so we have access to that. Is we're going to go while pointer text is not equal to a terminator character. And I'm pretty sure that clipboard is always terminated. So while that, if P equals a new line character, and P needs to be, or text, that's supposed to be text. I'm reading the other one and putting the wrong variable there. So if it equals new line, tab, offset, incremented, so every time it comes across a new line, it's going to increment offset. And then we go text plus plus. And in all honesty, I can't even say how this works. I'm not sure. So the next thing we'll do is we'll initialize well, actually, from here, we can probably go highlight, paste, or something like that. Highlight, and that will be a void function. Highlight, paste. And this will receive an integer for offset. So that's going to introduce a little bit of issue with keyword. So because keyword has to initialize its own thing. So we're going to need, let's see, we'll initialize pasteders will be our function's name. So up here we have page, line, and we'll add in void init paste iters. It will receive an integer for offset, which we're going to have to pass that around, and it's going to take a little bit of changes to other things to be able to do that. So inside of our search for keywords, we're going to have to facilitate that because it's going to have to be able to pass the offset. So right now it's receiving a number for its search type, either 1 or 2. So we're going to change that to 1, 2, or 3. And then we're going to include an integer for offset. So it's going to receive the offset. We'll change this to a switch. So we'll do switch search type 1, 2, and 3 as the case is. So switch search type. This we can turn to case. That is case 2. Case 1. Case 3. Init paste iters offset. So this one will pass offset. So all of this needs to get tabbed in, and then we need to add in break and add in break and add in break like that. So that should all be good. We'll copy that because we also have to initialize inside of the for loop. So we'll paste that into here. And this is so that should be good. Now here we'll send it type 1, 0. I suppose we could pass null also, but I'll usually just pass a 0 in an event like this. So when it comes to this one, we'll still need all of these things in it, which is a good argument for fixing the way that this is going on, because it is getting a little bit silly now, and this can be fixed with a little bit of sitting and thinking it through. So this would be paste iters. We would pass offset. We can just copy that and paste it into all of these places. And then in here we'd be passing a 3 and a 0. And here we would make the function call, highlight, do we call that paste, and pass it offset. Let's just make sure. So that all looks good. So to initialize the page editors, we know that at the end of the paste, the cursor will be at the bottom of whatever we paste. So we'd be looking at this. So we need the current tab, we'll need a mark. We'll get the mark at the cursor, and at the cursor, instead of placing start at the cursor, we'll place stop at the cursor. We would probably want to send stop to the end of the line. If it's already at the end of the line and it goes to another line, well, we could actually just use this. So we can check if it's at the end of the line, and if it is, then it won't move. Let's see. There's one piece of the documentation that really isn't clear about backward lines. It doesn't never say that it moves to the start of the line. Now, backward line says specifically to the start of the previous line. So yeah, I don't like that lack of clarity. We'll go start equals stop. And maybe we'll just test what happens. And we'll determine if it doesn't work out, what I would do is I would send start backward a line and then send it backward the offset number of lines. So to start off though, we'll just use this the way it is. So we'll go GTK text inner backward lines and start, comma, offset. So we'll send it that number of lines back. Then from there, I don't think that needs to be tabbed like that. We can do end iter line. And that's how it ended up like that. So, yeah. I'm thinking that should do what we're looking to do. So let's just give it a go and see how many typos we have to fix here. So there's a few. Let's see. Main, search, highlight, paste. Here's a problem, it's a typo there. So that's one of those. Okay, 624, there's something wrong there. That's just, I missed a single quote. Okay, that's probably close. Implicit declaration, so where's that? Four, seven, init, and that will happen again here. Okay. Request text, missing a semicolon there. All right. So this has got to be close now. There we go. So, yeah, moment of truth. So we'll get our usual document in. Let's clear a space out. We'll just find sort of a reasonable sized function to copy that has some obvious highlighting in it. So this is a good one. It's got lots of its, else, fors, and all the different variety of highlighting in it. So we'll just paste that in and we'll see what we get. Alright, so certain things have worked and certain things have not worked, and the things that are not working has something to do with keyword search. So we didn't toss any errors, but there's something wrong in that area. So we'll close. That should stay in the paste buffer or in the clipboard. Let's get down to see where the problem is with the keyword. So I'm not seeing the problem there. So we have one, we have two. Oh, here's the problem. We didn't send offset. So that was the entire exercise of adding in the second value. So yeah, that should have been a little obvious, but took me a second there to see it. So that hopefully will get us highlighting onto a paste. So we'll just do something similar again. So that is highlighted from top to bottom. So that to me looks like it's working, and I'm sure there's so we got the breakage there, the breakage recognized there, and the breakage recognized here. So we managed to get it to recognize because I broke a keyword with that paste. So it unhighlighted in the line that I broke on both sides of the paste. So I'm going to call that a pretty successful result. And yeah, I think I'll move on and try to get some bracket highlighting so that we can find the matching brackets. So that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful, and until the next video, take care.